Hey, welcome back to Global Environment. We're on agriculture. We're going to start to talk about some of the impacts of agriculture on both the environment and human society and culture. So what are we talking about here? How does it change human culture? How does it change human society? One is, with that surplus, that extra energy, population growth takes off. You use that energy surplus. It says higher ROI, not always, but it leads to more people and a changed culture. It also allows people to have a sedentary lifestyle. People have to stay near the crops to tend the crops. Often people say this is an advantage, that this is what people want, but really if you ask most people, they'd like to move around. We kind of have to become sedentary when we do agriculture in most cases. All right, this chart shows population over several thousand years. You can see human population was fairly steady. And then when we get to the beginnings of agriculture and the spread of agriculture, it slowly begins to rise. And when we get into industrial agriculture, and we'll talk about that later in the course, it really takes off. It's not always smooth. The last graph looks smooth, but if you look at these graphs of population from Egypt, China, Ireland, there have been large drops in population due to famine, wars, diseases. Here in Ireland, you can see the impact of the potato blight. So it's not always a smooth increase. Sometimes some very serious decreases as well. Okay, let's talk about the sedentary lifestyle. Why is that? What does that cause? One is shorter birth spacing. Hunters and gatherers have to space their birth because the mother and sometimes the father, hopefully, helps move kids around. And with agricultural societies, that isn't the case. You can have shorter birth spacing, and that helps to increase population. Also, the surplus that's generated sometimes can help during famine years. You save it up, it gets you through the tough times. So basically, you're artificially modifying the carrying capacity, and that's something humans can do. And we talked about that when we talked about ecological footprint. Okay, it also supports specialists. The surplus, this extra energy that's provided, makes it so everyone doesn't have to be a farmer. And in the extreme, you can look at our modern society where we have very advanced agriculture, industrialized agriculture. About 5% of the population, they are farmers, and 95% are not farmers. They are supported by those farmers. So what can you support? Military, leaders, craftspersons for the technology. And this is an example of some early Bronze Age tools. And an agricultural society can support people to make these full time. And that gives them a great advantage over their competitors. And it's interesting to note, if you look at this map at where early metalwork began, you got the Fertile Crescent, China, some places in India and Africa, very similar to where you see first agriculture. So they kind of go hand in hand. These are some shots of some early bellows and technology used to make metal. Okay, so agriculture has big advantages. Societies with agricultures have high populations. They have specialists. They have technology. It's the guns, germs, and steel. The germs, too. So over time, we see agriculture spreading, and there are reasons for that. One is that people nearby said, wow, this could be a good deal. Look at all the things they're able to do and build. Maybe we should adopt it. So you see the spread of agriculture occurring that way. And also, you see the spread because agricultural groups, because of those great advantages, conquered non-agricultural groups. And basically, those are the reasons why. It either was spread through innovation, new ideas, or through conquering folks who didn't have agriculture. And it was a very developed system. When you think about it, it's a very complex society with hierarchies and with technology. And that advantage from having a lot of people, very high density, that helps you compete with other groups nearby. Okay, let's look at this picture. This picture shows the spread of agriculture in Europe. And you can see in some cases it took several thousands of years for agriculture to move through. But again, it did move through. These people had advantages. Sometimes it was conquering, and sometimes it was by adopting the system. And these people had organized societies, complex societies and technology, and they had those advantages from agriculture. And in many cases, they moved through, brought their culture and also their languages to the new areas. And it's probable that early Indo-European languages were brought to Europe this way by herders and agriculturalists. Okay, getting back to the advantages of having more people, if you look at this cultural stage graph here, you can see that the numbers of persons per hectare rises quite a bit from the early years. And again, these people have advantages when it comes to being in conflict with people still doing hunting and gathering that might be found in this density. So a big advantage there. Okay, so what are the advantages? More people. You have armies. You can support them. Specialization, craftspersons. You have animals that can do your work for you and the energy advantages of those animals. When we're talking about military, you can have people training to do this full time. This is a Macedonian army. It looks like a big porcupine. Look at how they might be able to compete against some hunters and gatherers. Religions are supported by the surplus from agriculture. People can be religious experts full time, and often these groups help to justify the societies and the leaders and sometimes the wars, for better or worse. You can see agriculture spread through Europe quite quickly, through Asia. Here's some rice paddies. Even in the Americas, and wherever you saw agriculture, you saw this complexity of society start to develop. And let's think about the effects on the landscape. Now you have plows doing work on the soils that has never occurred, anything like it in history. And if you replace an ecosystem full of these trees with maybe corn, look at what can happen. There's increased erosion because the soil's bare. There's increased leaching because the root system is different. Even when it comes to wind, that can change. And these nutrients can be harvested, so that changes soils. So environmental effects, you get nutrient loss, you expose soils, you get shallow roots, so this increases leaching, and you harvest the nutrients and take them away. So this has a big impact on the environment. And these are human-dominated ecosystems. And to show you that even in ancient civilizations, this was having a big impact, look at this port city silt up over time because of upstream agriculture. This is a Greek city over time, becomes an inland city. So we're going to stop there and move into how the spread of these complex societies occur. And we're going to do that later in the course. So see you next time.